St. Louis County Police held the line overnight along West Florissant Avenue. Officers say they advanced when some in the crowd threw rocks and bottles at them.
This is just about keeping people safe.
Also overnight, there were questions about this group of heavily armed men. They call themselves Oath Keepers and say they were sent to Ferguson to protect people who work for a website called InfoWars, which promotes various conspiracy theories.
You live around here, sir? You live in Ferguson?
This man identified himself only as John.
Who are you here to protect?
InfoWars, I've said before, are here. They're documenting the activities, and we're here to keep them safe.
The St. Louis County Police said in a statement to CBS this morning that Chief John Belmar called their presence unnecessary and inflammatory. Earlier Monday, a large show of civil disobedience stopped traffic. Lines of protesters joined hands blocking traffic in both directions along Interstate 70. 64 people were arrested. Nearly 60 people were arrested for blocking the entrance to the federal courthouse in downtown St. Louis.
There's no official protest. Everybody has their place in this.
Pastor Robert White has been on the front line since Michael Brown's death 1 year ago.
Has the conversation out here improved?
Absolutely. Everybody's looking forward to this change that we fought for.
St. Louis County Executive Steve Stenger said this street gun battle, which led to a police-involved shooting, was a tipping point to issue the state of emergency order.
Into the fact where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy. Good afternoon. We're back at 30 frames a second. I'm Nat Wood, and I'm sitting here in the catbird seat, I guess, the host seat. And today is a day of well, historic significance, and it's really historical because it all plays into what the scenario is and what's going on in the country as far as black lives mattering to someone other than their mothers. Today is the 50th anniversary of the Watts riots. Today, August 11th, I'm going to take my glasses off so I can read this little telephone thing. Today, August 11th, marks the 50th anniversary of the epic Watts Rebellion in Los Angeles. Triggered by police brutality and covering one of the widest areas in the history of urban rebellions, the Watts Uprising is considered by many as the beginning of the end of the nonviolence movement in black liberation, and a critical inspiration for the emergence of the black revolutionary organizations like the Black Panther Party. As you've seen, we're coming up on the year anniversary of Michael Brown in Ferguson. We just went through the year anniversary of the strangling death of Eric Garner. And interestingly enough, yesterday morning on cable they were running Birth of a Nation. My guest today is Tim Ford. He is an activist. He was in Ferguson. We're going to talk about some of the things. Tim, for those of you who know activism in the city of New York, you know Tim Ford. For those of you who don't, he has been in and around the struggle for decades now, and he has a long, long history of activism, sometimes through a nonviolent ideology, and sometimes through a more defined radical ideology, which is what he has adopted now. He's always been a firebrand. And we're going to pick his brain about Ferguson, about Michael Brown, about Eric Garner, about the AME Church about what's going on, and see if we can't take some calls and get some resolution to this thing. We got wars, rumors of wars, white militants, KKK. It's just a fun day on August 11th, 2015. With that, my brother, how you doing there, brother?
Peace, brother. How you feeling today?
Excellent, excellent. What's your take on all of this that's going down?
You know, as you were saying earlier, I've been involved for a long time. And, you know, the longer I've been involved, the more it seemed like it escalated. You know, we would think that things would calm down and things would actually change. The reality is it hasn't changed. It just escalated. Now they're killing us 28 hours a day. Within 28 hours, one black or Latino person is being killed by the police. It just doesn't make any sense. It's got more and more just like blatant racism. Even since Obama's in office, we can't even say racism has stopped. No, racism has actually increased.
Now, racism, I don't think anybody can do anything about how different people feel about other people. However, systemically, there has not only been a cessation of a racist agenda toward black people in America. There seems to have been, well, not even seems to be, there has been an acceleration of racist practices systemically. I'm not even talking about some barefoot inbred redneck shooting up the place. I'm talking about armed militias. One of the things about Ferguson is not just the fact that the police are out of control in terms of interaction with people and violence toward people. The city of Ferguson was actually pimping poor black people. They were feeding off of them like carrion in terms of traffic violations. I mean, in a town of 21,000 people, predominantly poor black people, they wrote out 31,000 freaking traffic violations. They were buying their Lexuses off of the backs of poor people and making sure that not only if they couldn't pay it, they couldn't participate and live in the world. So not only were they shooting black people en masse, not only were they terrorizing black people physically, but they were pimping black people. And this seems to be, well, not even seems to be, I take the seems to be. This is an occurrence that we are seeing dramatically enacted all over the country.
All over the country. What you just explained sounds like a lot about New York City.
Correct.
We've been going through the same things in New York. And it's not, you know, because it's New York, the media, a lot of us since Michael Brown, been marching since the winter. You know, dead winter, we in the street. Shutting down bridges, shutting down highways, shutting down everything. Do you think the media would cover that? No, because they don't want those things to be seen across the world, that people are actually in the street fighting for true justice. They don't want that. My organization, Africans Helping Africans, along with the Coalition to End Broken Windows, we've been in the street. And we've been in the street constantly. Every day, you have a group that works out of Grand Central, and they've been doing demonstrations every Monday, you know, in the streets. But do you think the media would cover that? No, because again, they don't want that information to be seen across the world that this city, New York, is just as has such policies like in Ferguson.
Racially parasitic policies.
Absolutely. You got a racist police commissioner, Bill Bratton. What do you think? See, well, we got to go back and understand something. Bill Bratton was a racist when he was here with Giuliani. He went to California, was a racist there with the same racist policy. The broken windows policy is racist. It was racist in California, and nothing changed in California, mind you. And then he come back to New York with our lying mayor, Bill de Blasio, who claimed that he cared about black and Latino people. He put up his little black son with his afro saying, I warned my son about police, and at the same time you hire a racist Bill Bratton with the record of being racist. Then you got these Toms, I'm going to be nice and call them Toms, Reverend Sharpton and Eric Adams, going to endorse Bill Bratton after they know his record. What are they saying about us? How much do they really care about us? You know, so we got to really understand what's really going on in this city. Eric Adams going to run for mayor. No, that ain't going to happen. You know, I'll do everything in my power to make sure Eric Adams don't win. Because first of all, he don't care about us. He's a flip-flop artist. You know, and Sharpton and Eric Adams, the blood of Eric Garner and Gurley is on their hands.
Nakai Gurley. There is a difference of opinion as to what the end game should be in terms of African American goals and how to combat racism. Since I'm the host, I'll refrain from name calling. Although, I wouldn't stop Trump, and I'm certainly not going to stop you from saying what it is you think. One of the things about broken windows, and a lot of our Afro-American politicians throughout the country, but specifically in New York as it relates to broken windows, you mentioned broken windows, keep referring to things that did not exist in the same way that 4 different cops all saw the same thing that did not exist in Amadou Diallo. They all saw the exact same thing that did not exist. They all said they saw a gun, but no gun existed, which seemed to be a bit impossible that 4 people would have from different angles in the nighttime would all have the exact same mass hallucination about something that did not exist. You mentioned broken windows. Eric Garner, and I have seen this played out in the media over and over and over again. I have heard Eric Adams refer to how we need broken windows. And I keep alluding back to the fact that there was no damn broken window. Before you say that you are enforcing some broken window, you should be at least allow me to break a damn window. There was no broken windows. They keep referring to Eric Garner as somehow selling loose cigarettes. Find a damn loose cigarette in the video. There is no cigarettes. There is nobody selling any damn cigarettes. The man had done nothing. So there was no window that was broken. There was no cigarette that was sold. The media keeps saying something about selling cigarettes and broken windows, but there were no windows broken and there were no damn cigarettes on the thing. They encircled a black man and ended up choking him to death, and there was no infraction whatsoever that was committed in that spot on that day at that time.
You know what? Your police commissioner, Bill Bratton, about a week ago, was speaking about his broken windows policy. He said, broken windows policy is just like the Minority Report. We will predict that you're going to commit a crime before you commit the crime. If those of you who ever seen the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise, they predicted a crime before you committed the crime. So this is what Bill Bratton is saying about his broken windows policy.
That's retarded.
He didn't agree.
That's
and he
retarded.
said, well,
so you just know I'm a pig
I'm going to
between
know
the
you.
cars.
You dancing on the train, so I know you're going to rob somebody tomorrow. You know, really? Look, I grew up in New York City. And we was break dancing on the train and everything else to collect a little money. Nobody who ever was break dancing on the train or in the subway station ever committed a crime because they were break dancing. You know,
How do you foresee somebody selling loose cigarettes?
That's the same question I've been asked.
Commissioner Bratton, you gotta like, you're not gonna address me. I wish you would call in and address my question. But say it to anybody. How the hell do you foresee, what kind of great white father mystic thing you got going on that you can foresee somebody about to sell loose cigarettes? And what do you do when they ain't got no damn cigarettes? Say, never mind. And if you can foresee somebody committing a crime, couldn't you then foresee the best time to apprehend that people committing the crime?
But you know what? You can also look at the Akai Gurley situation.
Uh,
That was part of that broken windows policy.
Right,
to patrol through the projects.
Foresee.
Right, he foresee that somebody's going to commit a crime.
Right, right.
The young man was coming out.
But he couldn't foresee the fact that this brother was going to die.
Right.
You could foresee the cigarette, but
right.
you can't foresee the chokehold.
But you couldn't foresee the fact that before you call your superior to find out what you're going to do, you're supposed to try to save that man's life. So the cop going to sit there and say, wait a minute, I'm not going to save his life right now. I'm going to call my supervisor to find out what I should do.
I wouldn't be saving nobody's life. I'd be foreseeing me some money. I wouldn't even be policing. If I could foresee, I'd foresee me some money.
Right.
I'd be fine.
That's it. But that's the whole thing with the Akai Gurley case. You know, this officer shoots Akai Gurley, then calls his supervisor before trying to save the man's life. It doesn't make sense to me.
A lot of African American or Afro American politicians, as well as a lot of newscasters and pundits, say that the focus should be on racial unity. That there are a few people who are out of control and they are making it bad for the legitimate activists who are there peacefully. In light of that critique, and in light of the fact that the Oath Keepers have landed in Ferguson, armed to the teeth with military assault weapons, and no one seems to know exactly how to deal with white men with military assault weapons. Granted, Missouri is an open carry state, but no one seems to know exactly how to deal with this phenomenon. What's your take on that? And more specifically, what do you think the reaction would be if a band of blacks landed in Ferguson with military assault weapons, whether or not they said anything aggressive or not? They say you can't shout fire in a movie theater. But if they talk real nice and just carried AK-47s, what do you think the reaction would be? And what does that say about the whole system in general, that this is taking place in the way it is taking place?
That's two questions. The first question I'm going to answer, I'm going to address, is the fact that, you know, those who claim that certain organizations are stopping other organizations, the nice organizations, from being heard, you know, apparently they're talking about us. Those of us who've been in the street, those real grassroots who's not getting that 501c3, those real grassroots who are not friends with Bill Bratton and de Blasio, who, like the Justice League, have secret meetings with, you know. So those of us who are not friends with them, we don't really give a damn. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep getting in the street until real justice is reigned. You know, we're going to really fight for real justice. We're not trying to be friends with de Blasio and Bill Bratton. They're not doing nothing for us. We pay them. They don't pay us. So that's to answer that question. The other question you asked, you know, if the new Black Panther Party and the Huey Newton Gun Club decided to go out to Ferguson.
The NAACP.
Any black organization who decided to go out there and say, you know what, okay, I got an AK-47 too.
Right.
Well, what happened is...
Baptist ministers.
Right.
Just anybody.
Anybody of us that decide to do that, what would happen? The fact they bring the National Guard in, the Marines, and everybody else to surround us, like they did those nonviolent protesters that was there in Ferguson. You know, they had no guns. And all of a sudden the National Guard came in and the police came in and started shooting at them. So why are you allowing white men with guns to come into that same neighborhood? It doesn't make sense to me. It's unfair policy. You know, we got to be fair across the board. So All right, fine. If they're there, why can't we be there? We have licensed gun owners. Why can't they come out there and do the same thing? But if they did, again, the National Guard would come out. They'll bring in the Marines, the Army, and everybody else they could think of to come out there and make sure that we didn't do anything, you know.
Also, I'm not sure how this open carry phenomenon actually works, especially in the context of them declaring a state of emergency. Worst case scenario, there's riots. Worst case scenario, there's destruction of property. What should the police response be to a paramilitary organization opening fire on a civilian population, no matter what the circumstances are? Are you allowed legally? And again, maybe somebody can look it up, Google it, call a lawyer, have them Google it, and let me know exactly what the policy is in terms of open carry and an emergency situation where there's a large civilian population that could be harmed. I mean, who do I sue? If somebody from Oath Keepers shoots my mama because somebody, or my child, because somebody is breaking the window, or even if my mama was breaking the damn window herself, and the police have allowed them to be there, who do I sue? Do I sue everybody? I mean, how does that even work?
We should be able to sue the federal government for allowing them to be there in the first
I should
place.
be able to sue
everybody in the whole place.
Right.
But it made me think about the fact that when that motorcycle gang had the shootout in Texas, and it's a phenomenon to me that none of them got shot by the police.
Correct.
But and it's funny, if it was a black group out there,
correct,
damn near all of them be dead.
Correct.
So why is it so easy for you to disarm white motorcycle gangs who is actually shooting at each other, and not pull out your gun and kill one of them?
Correct.
But it's easy for you to come and kill us.
Correct. Also, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to inject this. The theory behind open carry seems to be one of self-defense. They keep pumping this to me as self-defense.
Right.
How is it self-defense if you physically go to a place of confrontation with your weapon?
Zimmerman.
That is correct. But this is Zimmerman times Tinnerman.
There you go.
This is like
and it is, and that's
super
the problem.
steroid Zimmerman.
Right, and that's the problem. We have to understand that. Let's go to burning these flags. Let's talk about these flags. We burned the Confederate flag, but the real flag that needs to be burned and pulled down is the American flag.
Right.
That's the flag that enslaved us. That's the flag that continued to enslave us. That's the flag that continued Jim Crow against us. That's the flag that needs to be pulled down if you want to burn and pull the flag
that's not
down.
the Confederate flag.
Right, right.
The Confederate flag was taken out of circulation after the Civil War. That flag was a bunch of white Confederates. See, I was nice. White Confederates who were protesting the civil rights demonstrations in 1961. That has absolutely nothing to do with 1865. That was 1961. And that was in response to the civil rights movement. As a matter of fact, there has been 3 or 4 different versions of the quote-unquote Confederate flag. But that's not the Confederate flag. That has absolutely nothing to do with the antebellum South, other than in Jebediah's mind.
But it goes right back to what you were saying about the gun thing. We have to understand that black folks really have no rights in this country, and we gotta just come to the conclusion that we don't. We have power. The power we have is economic power.
Right.
We spend $4.8 trillion a year, and don't own and control anything. But if we said, okay, we're gonna stop spending our money for 1 week. 1 week alone, this government would respect us a hell of a lot more.
And that's a defensive power, but we also sleep on the fact that we have offensive weapons. And one of the biggest offensive weapons we have is the sheer brilliance that resides within the black community. That is the main reason why we get the doo-doo end of the school system. That under no circumstance are we ever told to go to school so as to compete. We are not empowered to compete and win against an adversarial system like everyone else. We are told we should go to school, do what the white man say, do what the school system say. We don't participate enough in the PTA. That's why we're doing so bad. And if we just go to school and kiss the proper behind and just be good Negro citizens, that we could maybe get a job in the Xerox room or some stuff like that. But there is no focused attempt to empower the African community in America. Not even in the little sophisticated uptown sedity places like New York City. Whether it's down south or up south, the education system, we have two educational systems. One that is designed for people to rule and to gain economic power and control, and another system that is designed that to make sure that we serve, and we seem to be in the bottom of the second system, by and large. And I think that's the major thing. We are a brilliant people. We're always coming up with new ways to do things, nuanced ways, nuanced approaches. I don't care whether it's in the arts, the sciences. I'm going to do an interview with a brother from Nigeria. But in the midst of holy hell, we got kids coming up with all sorts of things to bring lighting and stuff like that to the people of Nigeria. I mean, just sheer brilliance.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And there is a fear, and that was the thing about Birth of a Nation. And everybody needs to watch this thing. Not so much just to judge it. And I was saying to you before, in order to start a war, you need fire. Right. But in order to win the war, you have to embrace the cold. You have to embrace the pure logic, the calculated control. Malcolm was the fire. Elijah was the ice. Elijah had the temperament and the vision to see things and interact policies that actually made a difference long term. Marcus Garvey had both of them. He was the fire and the ice. I mean, he was the fire starter, but he was also the visionary and knew how to implement things so as to bring about entrepreneurial genius. But we need both.
Absolutely.
And we have both qualities. We have the passion, but we also have the vision and the creativity to implement it. And I don't think that we can do that by simply abrogating our authority and voting our authority to a racist white regime that has, in effect, controlled us in 1621, and we ain't never got nothing out of it.
Nothing. And it's funny when you talk about the Republicans and Democrats, and neither one of them has done anything.
Democrats kiss you first, but they're both screwed.
Both of them.
And the progressives.
Even if you elect a black Democrat, you still go through the same hell you go through when you were with a black white Democrat. It's very seldom you'll find someone in office that actually fights for the people.
Right.
You know, and when you get that person, it's hard, you know, you put too much burden on them. Because you wear them out. Because they got so much work to do. So, you know.
Correct.
And we have to really focus on our community. And the thing is, we, as a people, have to be in our own community. To stop police brutality, We have to patrol our own communities.
Right.
We have to be in the community to watch the police, as well as, I don't call it black on black violence. I call it community violence. Because the reason why there's no such thing as black on black violence. If you say black on black violence, you gotta say white on white violence. Because what it is community violence. The majority of people who commit violence within the community is from the community, and they're familiar with that community. Because they're familiar with that community, they commit crimes in that community. But 9 times out of 10 do they go outside of their community to commit a crime. A white burglar is not going to go into the black community to burglarize somebody's house. He'll basically burglarize somebody's house in the community that he's familiar with. The same with a black person. He'll commit a crime within the community that he's familiar with. Sometimes he'll go outside the community. But we have to stop saying black on black violence. It's community violence, and we need to deal with it as a community.
I don't even think it's community violence. I don't think it's black on black crime, violence or community violence. I think it's the effect of Europeanized white supremacist mindset that we have absorbed into our conscience to make us do the things we do in the way we do it. We have become, there's a phrase, association breeds assimilation. Yes. We have become so American, so down with their way of doing things, so into their mindset that we have absorbed all of their dysfunctions.
I agree.
This is not even black on black violence. This is white on black violence through black faces.
Right.
They, Machiavelli, the puppet master, is running the show. We have absorbed his dysfunction.
We adopted our precious behavior.
That is correct.
And we adopted it after slavery.
That is correct.
Because we forgot who we were, so we adopted our slave masters mentality. And from the violence down to hatred for women, we've adopted his mentality.
Correct.
And we got to break that mentality.
Correct.
You know, once we break that mentality, we achieve a whole hell of a lot more.
Correct.
And like I said earlier, we have to be the ones in the community. We the ones who have to patrol our community. We the ones who have to watch the police. Like my organization, Africans Helping Africans, we do street patrols throughout the community, along with Coalition in Broken Windows. We come together and we patrol the community, giving out information to the community on what to do when you stop by police. Also, we're also filming the police do their job. If you're going to do your job improperly, damn sure know that we're going to be sitting there watching. And we tell everyone in the community, in the street, everywhere, whenever you see a police officer pull someone over in a car or walking down the street, you pull out your cell phone. You have a right to observe them do their job properly. You can stand 10 feet away and film them and make sure they do their job properly, because if they see you filming them, there's less chance they'll abuse someone, you know, all the time. But definitely, we definitely got to get back in the community ourselves.
How is that panning out for your organization? I mean, you've traveled, you've worked with other organizations. There has been as many civil wars going on within our community as there have been a revolutionary war. One of the biggest civil struggles that is going on, civil wars that we are going on amongst blacks in the activist community is allegiance. There is a substantive number of black activists who are more acclimated to the progressive format, you know. They bum rush Bernie Sanders' ass, but they never bum rush anybody else. That's not to say I like Bernie Sanders. I could give less than a you-know-what about Bernie Sanders. But I think if you're going to bum rush anybody, you should bum rush everybody. It seems to me that you are saying Black Lives Matter, but it's more about the progressive movement, which is a bastard child of the Democratic Party. And it does not really address white supremacy in that way. Aggressively address not just white supremacy, but the lack of black power in the system, which is a bigger issue. I call them Chomsky Negroes.
Well, you gotta understand something. Black Lives Matter
Right.
is an organization.
Right. Right.
Also, there's a stance and a statement. I'm a part of that stance and that statement. I support the stance and the statement, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I'm not a part of the organization itself.
Right.
And
Correct.
right. So
correct.
and so there's a
And I'm not even bad mouthing the organization per
is
se.
fine.
I'm just referring to
Right.
the different agendas.
Right, and that's what I was getting to. The agenda is different.
Correct.
Whatever they're standing for is
Correct.
fine with me. That's what
Correct.
y'all do.
Correct.
What we stand for
Correct.
and under the Black Lives Matter banner
Right.
or stance or statement is that we are fighting for black lives.
Right, right,
Period.
right,
We're
right.
not going on that political whatever you're trying to do, but we're definitely
I just saw my girl here. Okay. We got phone calls. Oh, Lord, this is in the... Okay, let's take some calls. First, you finish your thought,
Right.
and then we'll take the call.
What basically what I was saying is that there's two different sides of Black Lives Matter. The Black Power movement side of Black Lives Matter and that organization side of Black Lives Matter.
All right. When y'all get ready, remember you got to hit those buttons with the phones because they were off, but the pods are up. Put it through, and hopefully everything will work. If not, we'll just keep talking, and you just like we'll wait a minute before you get it in.
Good evening, brother.
Hey, good evening, brother. How you doing? Good afternoon.
Okay, brother, how
Turn this volume up just a little bit.
We got to understand this country is based on racism, right?
Yes.
They have perpetuated the same type of mentality against our people ever since we've been in the country. And also, these are modern-day lynchings that you're seeing taking place against our people. We got to understand that we got to use the language, understand what they're doing, and use the language that they understand. The only way that you can stop them from doing this is come to the realization that you have to take a life for a life. Until we understand that these people are going to keep doing this and come to that understanding, they're going to keep on doing it. Y'all brothers, keep doing what you're doing, Brother Floyd, because without our brothers out in the street and fighting and doing organizing and doing the things that y'all doing, that our people just going to be slaughtered. And one day we'll stand up and do something about what these people are doing to our people. Y'all brothers be blessed, and I'll enjoy y'all conversation today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I think we got another call. Let's take the other call. Oh, we got a couple of calls. I'm peeping over there. Just put the call through.
Hello?
Hey, caller, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're gonna have to talk up a little bit. 'Cause we're having a little
Can you
bit.
hear me now, Wood?
Yeah, that's better.
How you doing, Mr. Ford? Tim Ford, what's going on?
Peace, brother. How you feeling?
Peace, brother. I want to say a great show. I want to say, man, it's always good for you to have a creative and interesting guest, a fresh take on things. Well, my attitude is,
Turn him up a little bit. We need everybody to hear what he's saying.
Oh, okay. My attitude is on the line of what you guys are talking about, but I still have an attitude about this so-called Black Lives Matter thing, because I don't think we're taking it seriously. I think we need to rehaul in our own communities, and we need to start fighting these savages, these savages that are destroying our community, these ones that have the same skin. We need to go after them with a hardcore stance. And I also want to say, my question to you, do you think the murders of these beautiful black women are in result of the black woman? You showed a picture earlier of the young lady climbing and bringing down the Confederate flag. Right after that, Sandra Bland was killed in Texas and a whole host of other women. What do you think about that? Reinstate automatics. Thank you very well. Thank you very much. Be well.
All right, thank you. Before we take a call, we're gonna take your call in 1 second. You want to address that?
Yeah. The sister who pulled down the flag. What people
And how it relates to
right, and what it is, the sister who pulled down the flag also was an activist. Is an activist, and come to find out later on that Sandra Bland was also an activist. And and the thing is, it's a fear factor. They're trying to create fear in us to stop what we're trying to do, to stop being in the street, to stop shutting stuff down, to stop pulling down flags. so on and so forth. We can't stop doing that. We can't fall into their fear factor. We're going to keep fighting, regardless of what they think or what they say. We're going to be in the street.
I have a different take on that. And let me say this: I don't think that the murder of Sandra Bland had anything to do with the flag or anything else. This is not an anomaly or an aberration based upon the fact that there are some black female activists. This is based upon the fact that black lives don't matter to white America. That the lives of black women don't matter to white America any more than the lives of black men. They've just been able to deal with black women differently than they have with black men. Right now they are dealing with black women the way they deal with black men, and they are killing them at a pace that is commensurate with the pace that they are killing black men. That cop, first of all, what went down is a disgrace before God. That cop actually followed that woman at a high speed, saw a black woman behind the wheel, didn't know whether she was an activist, didn't know whether she was a damn nun, he didn't know one damn thing about her. He followed her and tailed her until she became uncomfortable. He orchestrated that whole damn scenario. He followed her and followed her until she pulled over. And when she pulled over, he said that she did not signal. No crime had been committed. She had done nothing. Her damn headlights weren't broke. She wasn't making an illegal turn. She wasn't doing one damn thing. He orchestrated this whole scenario. He asked her questions. He kept badgering her, and the cigarette was subsequent
That
to the
just really
BS.
pissed me off right
The
there.
cigarette was not the catalyst. The catalyst, and you could see his mood changed when he asked, was she uncomfortable? And she said, well, yes, you bother me, but forget about all that, just write the ticket. That's when he got really, really surly. But he controlled the vertical, he controlled the horizontal. He had already isolated this woman like a damn pushed her off the side of the road and then charged her. All of this was orchestrated by the officer itself. So do I think it's because of a flag? No. I think the flag is the color that you have on your face that emboldens and empowers the system to think that they can do anything. They can jump on a damn car after unloading into a car with two black people, one of which is female, who have no weapons, empty those weapons, and then one of the officers jump on top of the car and start firing more rounds into the car, only to be acquitted in the justice system. This has nothing to do with the flag. This has to do with contempt and empowerment and emboldening lunatics to do crazy things to black people with impunity.
I agree with you 100%.
Let's take a phone call and but yeah, that's what I think.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
All right, Nat. Excellent show. Unfortunately, I tuned in a bit late, so I missed your guest. But his
that's
input is
1040.
dynamite as well.
Yeah.
All right. You know, as always, when I listen to you and your guests speak and whatnot, a myriad of thoughts be like shooting through my head and whatnot. And you know, like the way things are now is like every time I think about like November 4th, 2008, Obama was initially elected. You know, November 5th, 2008, the day after, gun sales amongst whites skyrocket. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, you know, when I think about that, I figure like, shoot, before that man was even elected,
and running for president, they would probably like stocking up on arms and whatnot. And
Correct.
when you see everything that has manifested itself in the sense that they basically slaughtering us wholesale for the most minor infractions and whatnot, when does it kick in the black folks that, yo, they are out to get us? This isn't no like paranoid, theorist conspiracy theory or nothing like this. This is actually happening and whatnot. From the biggest to the smallest and whatnot, they are just like doing what they want with us, and somehow, like I love Black Lives Matter. Like you can break it down and say, oh, this, that. They're doing something. Unlike these so-called misleading black Negroes and whatnot that basically, rally us up to march and whatnot, go in the room with the oppressor and whatnot, and come out with a cut check in their back pocket and then give us a thumbs up sign, but everything continues the same and whatnot. At least these people are doing something and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to cut the legs out of any movement that appears to be straight up until they show me otherwise and whatnot. Even though Obama's been a big disappointment and whatnot, I'm going to even give Bernie Sanders a shot because I've seen his track record and whatnot. Say what you want about him being a Jew or whatever, but, until he shows me otherwise and whatnot, I'll give him a shot. But the thing is, black folks got to wake up and start thinking that a little march is going to rectify it, because these people is acting like they ready to, like, just do what they got to do, and we need to do the same. Y'all brothers stay up.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Believe me, I'm not against anything any person does, any black person does, in terms of trying to empower black people. I might disagree with the strategy. I might take a different tack. My problem is with certain organizations, certain people whose main goal is to maintain the status quo, not to empower black people.
I agree.
I keep hearing these cats, these politicians, they get on the damn TV, they talking about, oh, you need to vote, and, and yada, yada, yada. Well, hell, the reason why you got a job is because we came out to vote. I mean, we voted your ass in. So, I mean, what's the problem? How is that going to change anything?
They don't get
We
it.
voted Obama in. That doesn't seem to make a damn difference. We voted your ass in. All you cats at the city council, all your black faces at the city council,
And
the state
haven't done a damn
assembly,
thing.
the state senate, wherever you are, we voted you in. They voted in a black mayor in Baltimore. They voted all sorts of. Nothing has changed. So in order to actually get something, and I'm not saying don't vote. I'm saying that is no damn panacea. I am saying that we are going to have to get real within our own community. We're going to have to stop thinking of ourselves as an extension of white people and think of ourselves almost like immigrants who don't even speak the damn language, who is starting from scratch and need to empower our community, need to educate our own people, need to make moves within our community. We are going to have to accept the fact that we are not extensions of white people. And as long as we do this, we're going to get the dookie in.
Right, and you're absolutely right on that, because what we realize in my organization and the other organizations that, our people are getting sound bites.
Right.
Sound bites for information. And this has been going on for years. And, even when I was back in the days when I was with Sharpton and everybody else, I said the same thing to him. We got to go into the community and tell the community what's exactly going on.
Right.
Sound bites is not working.
Right.
So what we decided to do now is that we're going to, when we do our street patrols and cop watch, we're going to do outreach at the same time.
Right.
Give out information, talk to the people, let them know exactly what's going on with the politicians, what's going on in their community about everything. Because only way they can change anything if you know something.
Right.
With the problem with the black community is, one, the fear of information and the fear of change. We have to break that. And the only way we can break that is to bring them the information, regardless if they want it.
Correct.
Sunday we marched for Mike Brown.
Right.
From Brooklyn up to the Bronx.
Right.
And when we got to the Bronx and we went a little bit through Manhattan, Harlem, we went through the projects.
Right.
And the enthusiasm.
Right.
Everybody was coming outside.
Right.
You got information,
Right.
you know, about what's going on. We gave them out flyers and so on, and different information about what's going on. This is important to our community because we need information. We need to make real change. The only way we can make real change is to get the information in our hands. Now, if you got the information, only thing we can do is plant the seed.
Mm-hmm.
We plant the seed, you make it grow.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to get in the streets and give out information about what's going on in our communities, what's going on outside of our communities, what's going on with these politicians, the bills they pass, so on and so forth. You know, if we don't know, we can't change it.
Right.
You know, and as activists who've been doing this for a long time, damn if we're not tired. We're really tired, but we refuse to quit because we know that our people are in jeopardy and that things need to change.
Correct. And if by unity they mean that we should just accept our status as insignificant lapdogs to an abusive massa, then I don't like that plan. I don't like that plan. The only way that you can love me is if I'm your servant, then you don't love me.
Not at all.
Then you don't love me.
And that's the problem with a lot of these so-called black leaders.
They're
so for the status quo.
That is correct.
They're getting that 501c3.
That is
They're
correct.
getting sponsored by organizations like Walmart and Macy's and Pepsi. So they're not going to do anything against them.
Right.
You know, they're not going to go against the grain.
Right.
You know, they'll brag about, oh, well, we got a special prosecutor. Hold up, let me make something real clear. The end of stop and frisk and this special prosecutor didn't have a damn thing to do with them.
And the prosecutor is only good after you done whip my ass.
Right, but understand something about
taking no more ass whippings.
That's my point. But understand something about this special prosecutor. He's only there for a year. One year. And he's a friend of Como. Okay? So if you're a friend of Como, then that means you're a friend of de Blasio.
But even if he was a friend of Malcolm, okay, and we got to call him and take the call. But even if he was a friend of Malcolm, even if he was Farrakhan's mean brother, it still presumes that someone is going to come and listen to us after the white man has kicked my butt.
That's my point.
After the white man has killed my children.
Right.
That is
unacceptable.
But
listen to us and do what? Listen to us and do what?
Let's take the call. Right. You know, and I'm saying the evil emperor must be brought to heel.
That's right.
But let's take the call. Let's have the caller interject. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, caller?
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
I want to say this. When all white people, some white people were slaves too during the time that Africans were slaves. Now, when well,
that's a misnomer, but go on.
When Christianity came in, the whites said we're Christians and we are one blood. The blacks adopted that Christianity, but they said you cannot be free. They freed the whites through Christianity, but they say the blacks, you can adopt a religion, but you can't be free. Now, this was before slavery. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment black man won his freedom, so-called. Now, at that time, they started suppressing you, us, by calling in Europeans. They would let Europeans come here and sell to build up the numbers. So they would always have more numbers to vote than us. That way, they always be in control. There's so much that I would like to say, but I just can't get it all in. But this thing has been stacked, and you have to go to the courts, the state, federal government. That's where the thing starts. They got laws, but the laws are not right. So we got to look there. And first of all, we got to do everything that you guys say. But I just want people to know that religion, they got to give it up. You cannot adopt your slave master's religion when he told you that you will never be are free as long as you have another bloodline, the blood race. The race of your blood keeps you from being free. And so they've been working on it ever since. And they the grandfather clause and go on off into other things where they have a fraud completely. This is a fraudulent society, as you guys said, and it starts with the laws and things that they're making. I'm gonna let you guys go because
all right, good caller, because I got another call I want to get in. We're going to circle that around in the weeks to come because you made a lot of valid points. But let's try to get this last caller in. We only got a minute. So.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right. Okay, we lost the call. Yeah, he said a bunch of things, but it's too many to address right at this moment. But one thing he said that is very valid, that one of the biggest pacifiers that has been used against us is the religion part of it. We're gonna delve more into that, specifically how they've used religion as a weapon, as a chain. Some folks use it as wings, but it was designed to be a ball and chain, and it's been very, very effective. But most of the weapons that they've used in white supremacy has been most effective. You got like a minute to tell us about your organization, what you're going to be doing, and
okay, Africans Helping Africans. We're doing street patrols actually here in Harlem tomorrow, Wednesday the 12th. Wednesday the 12th. We'll be on 125th and Adam Clayton Powell in front of the Harlem State Office Building at 7 o'clock. We're going to be doing street patrols from there. And on Friday, we'll be in the heart of Brownsville, Brooklyn, on Livonia and Rockaway. We're going down to basically talk to our people, give out information, film the police, and be who we're supposed to be. We are trying to change the atmosphere from what they say it is. We're the ones who stop the violence, not the police. How are you going to bring 1,300 police into the city, talking about community policing, and you got a racist policy? No, we're not going for it. We're going to be in the street.
Thank you, brother. We got 30 seconds. I don't know if they're running my closing music. It doesn't matter because I'm going to close out anyway. We will see you next week. I'm not satisfied with just stopping the violence. I want to take over their corporations. I don't want their damn job. I want their damn company. I want to be able to, like, if you do me, I evict your mama. We will see you next week. 30 frames a second. Thank you for joining in. Peace. We out.
Peace.